Take the series from the Angels, take another series from the Angels. Have had a lot of success against the Halos so far this year. And a couple of veterans on the mound tonight. Scott Feldman for the Houston Astros. Tim Lincecum making his third start of the year for the Angels. His season debut came just this month. Signed with this team back in May, hadn't pitched in the big league since last May, and the Angels could really use some starting pitching to step up. They've used a lot of guys, and they're hoping from some of that old school magic of Tim Lincecum when he was so dominant across the entire league. Nobody could really hit this guy. You're looking at some video from the 2 seasons where he won the National League Cy Young Award. He was incredible in those years. Of course, had many great appearances in the postseason, has some rings with the Giants there, and that's what the Angels are hoping for. Now, he's only had 2 starts so far this year, so the Astros don't have a ton of video of the Tim Lincecum wearing the red uniform, guys, but I asked Jose Altuve, who saw him in 2012, that's the last time he's faced the Astros, what's the approach on this guy? He said, you know what, I'm going to look at these 2 starts, but I can't really think about anything from 2012, so I'm going to toss it up to you, Ashton Blummer, on what do you expect to see from the righty tonight?
Very good stuff on Tim Lincecum, a guy who won the Cy Young Award each of his 2nd and 3rd seasons in the major leagues. He's had 10 years in the big leagues. He's still only 32 years of age, and I think Blummer would tell you that he's got, or at least at one time, had a great heater, a changeup that was nearly unhittable, and a nice over-the-top yacker.
Yeah, I pretty much tried to prove the fact that that changeup was unhittable because that was a nasty pitch from him. And he had a fastball around 95 miles an hour, and I didn't get a chance to see one. He knew what my out pitch was, and he pounded that changeup on me, and it worked quite effectively. But what's beautiful about him is that later on in his career, he kind of learned how to pitch a little bit because the velocity started to drop drastically, went to those other secondary pitches. But what we've seen early on, at least what I've seen early on, is control issues with Tim Lincecum, lack of velocity, and sometimes that lack of velocity leads to lack of confidence coming in the zone with it. So look for the Astros to look for a couple pitches up, hopefully to drive.
And for the Astros against Tim Lincecum tonight, A.J. Hinch put that starting lineup presented by Southwest Airlines out there with George Springer in the top spot like last night. Luis Valbuena batting second. League's leading hitter Jose Altuve is in the 3 spot. Carlos Correa had the big game-winning RBI last night. He's 4th, followed by Colby Rasmussen, Marwin Gonzalez back in there. And the bottom 3, Carlos Gomez, Evan Gattis, and Jason Castro. George Springer will stride on in, try to get things started against Lincecum. For Lincecum, he's had a great set of numbers over his career against the Astros, going 5-0 in 9 career starts. ERA just under the 1 mark at 0.99. And when you look at the sum total of those numbers, a guy you would figure is going to be really tough to get to, but in recent years, not the same Tim Lincecum that he was early in the career.
Got a bit of a holding pattern right here.
Some of the numbers that Jeff Blum has had plenty of an opportunity to face this guy. I can tell you about how tough he can be.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of playing in San Diego when Tim Lincecum burst onto the scene, and it was electric stuff. But you can see there's been some issues in between, and I don't know what to point it to. The velocity was gone, which made the changeup not as effective. But when you're throwing 95 and he was able to pull the string at 86 miles an hour, that was a tough pitch to hit. And the depth.
Well, you talk about that velocity that once upon a time was mid-90s, then the great change and curve to go with it. And I think you'll see the numbers on the fastball nowhere close to those figures tonight, and that provides a much better chance to maybe sit back on the change or the curveball. Springer immediately in front on the count, 3 balls and no strikes as he gets it going. The 2 starts for Lincecum this year coming both against Oakland. One a good one, that was his first outing. The second one not so good at all. And he starts tonight in that vein, walking Springer on 4 pitches.
Third baseman, number 18, Luis Valbuena.
It was Matt Shoemaker for the Angels last night, pitching very well. And as he's done, taking it deep into the ball game with the Astros unable to get to him. But Once the Astros got Shoemaker out of the game, they were able to put some numbers on the board, eventually win it 4-2 over the Angels, and a big one, winning that first of 3 in this 3-game set. And now for the Astros, winners in 6 of the 7 meetings between the two clubs. Valbuena had a nice night last night. He has pushed that batting average now up to 263. Looked for a moment like he had his 9th home run on the year. Hit one high off the wall in right field, right on the corner edge of that right field wall. He eventually replayed, turned it into a double for Luis. And he's been a big part of what the Astros have done as they've made this resurgence now as a club. The Astros start the night 40-37. 3 games over 500, matching a season high. 10 games, however, back of the Texas Rangers, who have played great baseball. 50-27 are the Rangers. Those 50 wins put them at the top of the major leagues in terms of wins at this point. Springer maybe edging and might have been thinking about running. The Astros continue to lead the league in stolen bases. They've not put up the best percentage, but they've been aggressive and successful. 60 bags, they've been caught 23 times. Two and two the count with Jose Altuve waiting on deck. This American League West has a lot of work to do. Mentioned the Astros in second place, 10 back. Seattle trails at 11.5. Then Oakland and the Angels. The Angels 32-45, 18 games back of the Rangers.
Yeah, I like what the Astros are doing. They're playing their baseball, and I like to think, at least I'm hoping, that they're thinking just about themselves, because if they take care of their own situation, everything else will work out. Even if it turns into a wild card situation, they're playing for something. I think if you sit there and you try and stare and look up to a team like, wow.
Strike 3 called outside edge. Valbuena does not appear to buy into that call.
Speaking of looking up, we're going to look at that on our strike zone, brought to you by MD Anderson. See if it comes back. Catches that up and away corner just barely. But getting back to the Rangers talk, if you're sitting there trying to watch the Rangers and try and keep up with them, you're going to be thoroughly annoyed and ticked off, and you're not going to want to play baseball anymore, because it doesn't matter what those guys do. They sat around for 3.5 hours last night, came back to beat the Yankees. So these guys just need to worry about taking care of their business. And I think you hear it in some of the articles and interviews with these guys. They just talk about winning each day, winning each series, and moving on from there.
Well, it is what the Astros have been doing. And as you talk about it, it's dead on the money. The Astros 10-2 over their last 12.
And they lose a half game in the standings.
And lose a half game. That's
that
how
blew me
well
away.
The Rangers have been playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can go on and on with the Astros. 23-9 over the last 32. What do you got, Blummer? Oh, you got nothing. Okay. So nothing unusual going on right now.
Not yet. Chilling, enjoying the action. They seem hyper paranoid about George Springer at first base. The Angels do.
33-20 are the Astros over the last 53. That's since May 1st. And since that date, the Astros are third in the American League in winning percentage. And that figure tells you, along with the Rangers, there's some pretty good baseball being played. Guess you would be talking about Cleveland and Baltimore, each leading their divisions, as Altuve draws the walk on 4 pitches. A couple of walks issued by Lincecum. The Astros have some speed aboard at first and second. 1 out as it brings up Carlos Correa.
It is truly bizarre to watch this kid on the mound, Tim Lincecum, pitching the way he is right now, because when he was going well, he was one of the more confident pitchers in all of baseball, who commanded the respect on the mound, and now it just seems to be searching for it.
He's not the freak anymore. Had that long hair, the skinny kid on the hill. You know, by the physical standards that Major League scouts and everybody wanted to see, he was 180 from that figure.
Yeah.
It's listed at 5'11", 170. I'm not sure he was that heavy in his big days.
That makes Roy Oswalt look like a beast.
Roy was a big fella. Clearly overeating before starts. Correa backs away. Carlos Correa had a big sacrifice fly late last night. Gave the Astros the lead. A wild pitch in that inning would give the Astros the 2-run lead. And the way the bottom of the ninth went, it looked like they were going to need every bit of that. Eventually, Will Harris got a double play, a ground ball back to the mound, a 1-2-3 twin killing. And the Astros took that 2-run win to start up another winning streak. 2-0 the count. Good hitting count now for Correa. 43 RBIs. Jason Castro had a big double to start an inning. It's Scott Feldman on the hill tonight. Ball is hammered left field deep. Back of the wall. See ya. There's your player of the week. 3-run dinger in the first inning against Tim Lincecum. And the Astros enjoying what their young shortstop is bringing.
He's got another home run streak. It's a pretty nice start. 2-0 count, not trying to do too much. He got a pitch that came back to him and lays into it.
Left fielder, number 28, Colby
Pretty good
Moore.
4-hole hitter.
I guess you just hope he continues to keep the mindset that he is the 4-hole hitter, the guy that is counted on to drive in big runs. That is a very welcome first inning 3-0 lead. You're supposed to take advantage of walks, aren't you? Colby Rasmus swings through that changeup.
Tim Lincecum is the 10th starting pitcher for manager Mike Scioscia.
Half swing. Colby goes through, down on strikes. A couple of strikeouts here in the inning as Lincecum gets Balbuena and now Rasmus. And it brings up Marwin Gonzalez. Here's Carlos once again.
Man, that's just a BP fastball down and in. And if you don't have the velocity like you used to, it's tough to get that pitch past a big league hitter these days, let alone one of the caliber of Carlos Correa. That wasn't even his best effort either. That lower half went early. He was able to keep the hands back and still drive it out of here.
Big and strong and talented. It all adds up very nicely.
And rakes in this ballpark against this team.
You know that Mike Scioscia just cannot stand seeing Correa at the plate in a big situation.
Him or Altuve?
Yeah, the two of the guys.
Man.
Altuve had that big line drive hit last night to drive in a run. Still leading the league in hitting. He's closing in the total hits now. Xander Bogaerts, what a year he's put up for the Red Sox. I wonder what goes through that mind right there. 21 years of age, as talented as they come. Arwin takes a strike. It's 2-2. You know, you want that guy to be pleasantly cocky. You want him to believe he's the guy that can take the team on his shoulders. A couple of guys right there that can do it. Half swing going through Marwin Gonzalez. 3 strikeouts for Lincecum, but in between, some big noise from Carlos Correa. in Southern California. Little action going on here at the ballpark, the Big A in Anaheim. Carlos Correa has hit a 3-run home run. It's 3-0 Houston as the Angels come to bat. Their lineup from Mike Scioscia, Cole Calhoun, Mike Trout, and Albert Pujols. Middle three, Daniel Nava, Johnny Giovatella, and Jeffrey Marte. And those bottom three, Gregorio Petit, Carlos Perez, Andrelton Simmons.
On the mound, a familiar face for the Houston Astros, Scott Feldman, getting his chance out of that bullpen where he has done a fantastic job, but as a starter, it didn't go so well in those 4 games to start the season. 0-2 with that 4.58. Got those wins out of the bullpen, but looking for an opportunity possibly to sneak back in here with Lance McCullers not able to make the start today because of a blister on his pitching hand.
So that first pitch from Scott Feldman at 90 for a strike. Yeah, Blummer just mentioned it. Those first 4 outings for Feldman starts, ERA 4.58. Since then, it has been nothing but success out of the bullpen. Calhoun chops that curveball, 0-2 the count. Scott Feldman was not happy about coming out of the starting rotation at the beginning of the year. Boy, when you see a guy succeed as he has out of the pen, kind of makes you wonder. Castro keeps that curveball right in front.
Yeah, even if he wasn't happy about it, I think he handled it pretty professionally by going out there and doing the job.
Agreed.
And he's earned the right. We heard A.J. Hinch, a couple articles say that Scott Feldman has earned the right to get a chance to get back in that rotation if there is an opportunity.
He's been fantastic. He seemed to benefit from that fastball and the velocity that comes up working out of the pen. First out of the night as that left-handed bat of Calhoun grounds out to Altuve.
And with Mike Trout coming to the plate, we're going to look at our Ford spray chart. Home runs by location this season. With fastball off speed. That last night was a curveball from Colin McHugh after a couple of fastballs up, and you can see he went down and got it. But if you're missing in the center of the plate, Mike Trout is obviously a good enough hitter, but he is going to drive it out of the ballpark if you make a mistake. But that one on the bottom was ridiculous last night.
Very good curveball down under the knees and just launched out of here. He's had 5 consecutive multi-hit games, the last 3 of which have been 3-hit games, and here's the home run from last night.
Almost makes you wonder if he was out there looking for it, because the 2 pitches previous to that were pitches up in the zone that he laid off.
Lights off the fastball and fouls it. Ball and a strike. Yeah, as I watch Mike Trout, obviously he's a great hitter, but he's one of those. He's a rare youngster that I think is a terrific off-speed hitter. Very patient at the plate, willing to strike out. By that meaning that he's willing to go deep in counts, and still very effective. .319 batting average, 17 home runs. Homered in 3 consecutive games. A shallow fly ball into center field. Altuve, very tough play, can't make it. And so Trout right back on that hit parade once again. 1 for 1, a 1-out single brings up Albert Pujols. And Carlos Gomez just never got into town.
And Altuve's in a tough spot because with that shift on, he's in that kind of like shortstop position, and that's not a normal route for Jose Altuve to take. And he's not running back into a situation where he knows the right fielder George Springer will come pick him up. So it's a little bit foreign in the sense he doesn't know where he's at on the field, and he's got somebody uncommon coming at him, and Carlos Gomez out there as we look at it on our Supermo, brought to you by Mattress Firm.
Looked like Altuve may have called that one. Speed at first, Pujols at the plate. But when you get Trout to pop one up like that, you want that out.
Yeah, especially if you're Scott Feldman, you make a pitch like that.
Trout has run well, not a lot this year, 10 of 11 in that stolen base category. And he's on the move. Pitch a strike, throw down, a good one, and they don't get him. Jason Castro puts it on the money. And yet that tag from Altuve just a tick late. So base number 11 for Trout.
That's all you can do. That was a pretty good catch and throw by Jason Castro. Quick release. Good footwork. Throw on the money. Altuve catches it, drops it.
They might be reviewing this. I think A.J. Hinch believes they may have gotten Mike Trout. So the umpires come back behind home plate. The tag looked like it kind of set up slowly there.
About as close as it can get, and I think the Astros might have a shot here to getting this one overturned.
I think I agree with you.
But again, another opportunity for these two to get to know each other better.
Last night, a lot of chatting between Trout and Jose Altuve. Trout got sniped around the bag at second. It's really close. I wonder if that's enough.
There's impact on the elbow, and then you see a base move, which tells you that's when Trout was making the impact on the base. But again, our trained eye,
Your trained eye
is telling us what we're seeing. There's no guarantee New York is going to see the same thing.
Yeah, that's really close. I wonder if they would take it to that extent of saying, hey, look, the bag moves at this point. They continue to take a good look from New York.
I think they really need to start putting impact sensors on the player's body and then in the bag. Kidding.
Be really good.
We need Mythbusters out here to figure this out.
Video games can be made right from the ball game that way. Well, Mike Trout awaits the call, as does Scott Feldman. Jason Castro would love to know that he's thrown out a man. And it's a stolen base. I have a feeling that just fell in that category of too close to definitively say that he was out at second.
I completely agree. The Astros have now challenged 19 calls this season and have been successful in overturning only 7 of them.
That surprises me. When you're getting the word from the clubhouse, go ahead and challenge this one.
I know.
Of course, there are times late in the ball game where you'll take a shot. Albert Pujols stands in, hitting .240. Still got that power game to rely on. Yeah, tough inning here for Scott Feldman, where you give up the pop fly single and then the bang bang stolen base by Trout. Albert Pujols with 14 long balls. Two balls and a strike on Albert. And 7 of his last 20 hits against the Astros have been home runs. 52 career home runs against the Astros. More than any other player all time. 3-1 as that curveball stays up and in. Pujols has been swinging it much better recently. Hitting .310 with a double, couple of home runs, 6 RBIs over his last 10 games. And just recently hit his 574th career home run. 3-2 the count. See that fastball from Feldman here in the first inning, 92 miles an hour. That number 574, 14 on the season, allowed Pujols to pass Harmon Killebrew, the killer. Sole possession now of 11th place all time. 9 shy of Mark McGwire. Line drive, that's at Correa. So they get a second out on the soft line drive. Trout still at second base. The cleanup man Daniel Nava comes to the plate.
Good job by Scott getting in the kitchen of Albert Pujols. Still got good run on that fastball from Scott Feldman. I'm actually kind of curious to see how long a leash Scott Feldman has. He's been pitching out of that bullpen. As you look at that fastball getting in on Albert Pujols, you know, what's the pitch count? I don't think we've seen Scott Feldman out of the bullpen go more than 3 or 4 innings.
Which would behoove Scott to get as many quick outs as he can get. You know he'd love to be around for at least 5. Get a chance to pick up a W tonight. Daniel Nava just stood right there, maybe waiting for that curveball to catch a piece of him.
Yeah, it might be because Nava sees the ball pretty well off Scott Feldman. Faced him 13 times in his career. He has 5 hits. One of them is a home run.
Daniel Nava didn't leave the box, but he's taken his time settling in. Shift on, 3 infielders on the right side. And a 2-0 count. Second baseman Johnny Giavotella waiting on deck, right-handed bat. The numbers on Feldman this year say that he's had a rough time against left-hand hitters. Slowly hit ground ball. Correa's there in the shift, and that'll do it. Feldman gets through the first inning, leaves a man at second. On the Correa 3-run shot, it's 3-0 Houston.
At top of the second. It's time to play, brought to you by Toyota. We're going to have some fun with this one. Last week, maybe the highlight or low light, depending on who you are. Jose Altuve trying to leg out that triple. He doesn't quite make it. Has to gets the double there. Sorry, we're looking at Mike Trout though last night. How about this karma? It was kind of some karma involved, is what Mike Trout was saying. He was teasing Altuve before the game, and then look at him trying to get his triple. Falls over what? How does that happen when you're Mike Trout? However, he was much more graceful than maybe Altuve there. And we're going to talk more about these 2 particular plays in our Stroh poll coming up, guys.
Thank you, Julia. A couple of the great players of the game with the sniper act here recently. Yeah, it's been fun watching those guys interact down at second base. Carlos Gomez leads off the second. It's been the Carlos Correa show already. 3-run home run in the first inning. Number 13 on the year for Correa. 2 balls and a strike. Tim Lincecum struck out 3 in the first inning, but also a couple of walks, and they were aboard on that dinger for Correa. Yeah, and watching Lincecum here, early goings tonight, Clearly the fastball is not what he once had. Try to rely on that changeup, but when you can't back it up with the heat, it becomes really difficult.
Yeah, and I don't think there's enough movement on that fastball to be effective at 88 miles an hour.
Classic over the top guy. Line shot handled at third. So Gregorio Petit, former Astro, makes a nice play to Rob Gomez. First out in the second.
Designated hitter, number 11, Evan Gattis.
Saw some good things from Gregorio when he was here as an Astro. Pretty good play on that line drive. Got to have some quick feet. Tell you what, if you're playing third base, some of these big right-handed hitters versus Lincecum, you better be on your toes. It's a good look at it.
I thought Petit did a nice job at an Astros uni. Doing a nice job right here. Evan Gattis starting to pick up the knocks again. Has a one-out single. He's aboard for the 9-hitter, Jason Castro.
Catcher, number 15, Jason Castro.
He is also back. The Astros certainly hope so. Jason Castro with a big swing late last night, led off with a double. And that kick started that 2-run surge late in the ball game for the Astros to get in front on the Angels. Also walked in last night's game, scored a run. Done pretty well against right-hand pitching this year. Hitting .262, 8 doubles, 6 home runs against the righties. Curveball finds the inside edge. And for Castro, again against those right-handers, the on-base percentage .393. There's the changeup and effectively thrown. 4th strikeout now for Lincecum.
Right fielder, number 4, George Springer.
Good location and good movement on that changeup from Tim.
That'll bring up Springer, who walked. Saw 4 pitches back in the first inning. Scored the Astros' first run of the night. And still Springer has not seen a strike. Two and 0 the count. Top of the order now for the Astros with Valbuena in that 2 spot and swinging it well. It's a pretty formidable first 4 in the order. Springer, Valbuena, Altuve, and Correa.
Well, I like the thought process behind it. We heard AJ saying he wanted to break up all those right-handed hitters. It's kind of nice. Nice little mix. Nice blend. Marwin's done a great job in that 2-hole.
That he has, and he has that ability to switch hit. It's kind of a coin flip for me in that spot. Springer on the 3-0 hits it sharply, but Petit with the play. He'll get Springer. That'll do it for the Astros in the second. They get a hit and leave a man. 3-0 Houston. Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Michelin, a better way forward. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Blummer, they caught you out there today, huh?
It's good looking water right there, isn't it?
You get yourself some nice long rides?
No.
You're not into the long ride. You're into the exciting.
No. I'm the longboard, sit back, chill out for a couple of seconds, and then just take a nice, easy fall, casual fall into the ocean.
You get room service out there?
Yeah. Got a board that'll hold a 6-pack.
Astros with a 3-pack on the 3-run home run by Carlos Correa. 3-0. Johnny Giovitella leads it off. 5-hitter for the Halos. Followed by Marte and Petit here in the second. Giovitella has become that everyday second baseman for the Angels, hitting .275, done a nice job. Mentioned last night that Howie Kendrick, who moved on to the Dodgers, has struggled a bit this year, now playing in the outfield for LA. Easy for Springer, and the first out of the inning.
First baseman, number 19, Jeffrey Marte.
Jeffrey Marte will stand in. He was at third base last night, playing at first tonight, hitting .276. Has some pop, 4 home runs.
Some pop, but he didn't have enough pop last night.
Just enough to get it to the wall while he jogged it on down the line. The Astros had that 7-game winning streak snapped a couple of days ago, closing out the 3-game set in Kansas City, and that was a very good Houston series, taking 2 out of 3 against a club that started that series 25-8 at home. So the Astros really laid it on KC. Feldman up with the little cutter, pitch that he's thrown a lot of in recent times. You wonder, might Feldman find his way back into this rotation?
Ooh,
pretty good sinkage.
Man, that's a sinker off the table right there, down and in. 90 miles an hour, good 2-seamer, and just right underneath that bat. Nice pitch.
Mentioned the Astros 6-1 against the Angels this year. And they've done it with some numbers that are not overwhelmingly on the Astros side. They've scored 34 runs, allowed 28. And again, you take 6-1 out of that set of numbers, you've done pretty well. Popped up, shallow in center. It's Altuve calling, and now called off by Springer. There's the guy that Blummer was talking about back in the first inning. George comes on.
Make memories at an Astros game every Sunday with family-friendly activities presented by Kroger. The next Sunday home game is this Sunday, July 3rd. Astros versus the White Sox. For more information, visit astros.com/Sundays or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Two outs, bases empty. Gregorio Petit at the plate. Hitting .286. We saw Petit in an Astros uni a couple of years back. Played well. The Astros 40-37. 22-15 at home. 18-22 on the road. That road number has been coming along. Soft line drive and a leaping grab by Correa. He's doing it all. He's hit the long ball and now playing some D. That'll do it as Feldman has a 1-2-3 second inning. To the third we go. 3-0 Houston.
a 3-run home run over the Angels, and a couple of guys that have been swinging the bat extremely well in the month of June. Granted, they are 2-3 on how well Astro players have been playing in the month of June. We know Altuve is on the top of that board, but these two guys, with those bats getting going, I think has created a lot of depth in that lineup for A.J. Hinch. It's been nice to see. We saw Colby early in the season. He got his player of the week when he was swinging the bat incredibly well. But I'm most impressed with what Valbuena's done. One of the more unsung guys in that lineup who has done a great job forcing his way into that lineup and really putting himself on that roster. I do believe Julia has more on Luis Valbuena.
Well, I wanted to ask him how he felt about moving up in the lineup, way up there in the 2-hole, and he said, well, first of all, I get more at-bats, and he was extremely happy with that part of it. But in all seriousness, he's really excited about the way that he's laying off some pitches lately, staying in the strike zone. Even A.J. Hinch talking about this before the game, of he's fifth in the league when he's, as far as percentage of pitches out in the zone that he's laying off of. It's very good stats for Valbuena, who earlier in the year was struggling with this.
Thanks, Julia. It's led to 32 walks for Luis. Ball and 2 strikes. Here in the 3rd inning, Valbuena, Altuve, and Correa for Houston. Part of that lengthened top of the batting order now. Luis Valbuena now in his 9th year in the major leagues. Came up with Seattle. Only there for part of one season, moved on to Cleveland, the Cubs, and now in his 2nd campaign with the Astros. Had a big one last year, 25 home runs. Down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight, first out of the inning.
Houston Methodist is going to bring us our league leaders. And it's OPS this season. How about that? Potential retiree on the top of that list, David Ortiz. Manny Machado, of course, but how about Mike Trout and Jose Altuve in that OPS department, putting up some big numbers. We know Altuve's kind of, Julia talked about Valbuena stop chasing pitches out of the zone. Altuve's another guy this season that is able to hit those pitches out of the zone, but he stopped chasing those, and now he's forcing pitchers to pitch him in the zone. He's getting better pitches to hit.
Seen a curveball and a changeup right here, down in the count 0-2. Altuve drew a walk, scored on the dinger by Correa. Curveball, little looper right side, and a nice play at first base. Marte able to get back, use that first baseman's mitt. 2 down in the inning. It brings up Carlos Correa.
Nice play. Look back at Carlos's home run. Supermo. Fastball tailing down and in. Carlos Correa, that lower half took off a little bit quick on that 87-mile-an-hour heater, but the hand stayed back, and that kid is strong.
I thought he had a really good swing last night for that sac fly. I believe it was a 3-0 that he got a pitch to handle and able to drive it out there, drive in the run.
Tell you what, if Lincecum wants to be successful, he needs to do what he just did on that pitch. That was a nice down and away fastball.
Have a night like Correa did last night. Didn't get any hits, but came up with the big sac fly, the RBI late in the game, and made his presence felt.
His presence is felt once he gets off the airplane in whatever city the Astros are in.
Well, I'm not sure it even leaves when he's on the plane, but I'm with you. Drive down the left side, dropping, and it will drop fair down the line. Nava gets it in, but Correa sliding into second. He's got a dinger and a double to start the night. 2-out, 2-bagger brings up Colby Rasmus.
Left fielder, number 28, Colby Rasmus.
That's the 14th double of the year for Carlos Correa.
Tell you what, the switch has been flipped on this kid. My goodness.
Want to see him swing the bat or try to draw walks?
Well, that ball's not crushed, but that was a split finger, maybe a changeup coming on the inside. He stays back on it nicely, gets blown up a little bit. But this is the part I want to see. He realizes this ball's going to drop, and he puts his head down and takes off and makes it to second. That's big with 2 outs. In a 2-out situation, if you can put yourself in scoring position, that is a beautiful thing.
Correa in scoring position. Colby offers on that change. Again,
Well, recognition of the situation and the recognition of the opportunity is what leads to this. I love him being daring to go out there and give it a shot. Why not?
Colby pops it up on the left side. Shallow and left. Nava coming on. They'll put it away. That'll do it for the Astros. They strand the 2-out double by Carlos Correa. To the bottom of the third we go. 3-0 Houston.
Our Chevy Stroh poll. Make sure to head over to the Root Sports SW Twitter page to vote. Which ball was the funniest? Was it Altuve in Kansas City, or how about Mike Trout falling right in front of Altuve last night? A little bit of karma there, maybe. Or was it Chad Qualls from 2013, a former Astros with the Marlins that obviously is very happy about his outing there. We have to see that again.
Oh, that's priceless.
He just popped right up.
First pitch of the inning, Perez bunts, and a fine play by Valbuena to get him.
Do it, Louis.
Bang, bang at the bag, but that is a gem. Mike Scioscia debating whether he is going to challenge this play. And he might have good reason to challenge.
It's unfortunate. That was a heck of a play from Valbuena.
Now they will perform that examination in New York. And I think you're right. I think that Perez might wind up with a bunt single. Can't do it better than Valbuena came up with right there.
Good effort by Marwin trying to get out there, but it looks like Carlos Perez beats it.
I believe we've got a leadoff bunt single. If it is, Perez will snap an 0 for 8, and it is a single. Former Astros farmhand. Challenged right now by Jett Bandy to be that everyday catcher for the Angels. Andrelton Simmons at the plate. Simmons hitting just .226. Been swinging it much better in recent times. Well, we have seen enough of this guy to know that he can play some shortstop. Got some Astros fans showing up in the ballpark and tweeting with us. Welcome to Anaheim, and thanks for taking in Astros baseball. We've seen quite a few here in this series.
Some Astro fans down here. best is wearing a, some kind of Astro affiliated type gear around town. Some of the looks you get, it's kind of funny. Stir the pot a little bit.
The Angels have been renowned for having folks come out to the ballpark in their red, but it's a down year. And so the Astros fans kind of filling it up a bit.
Yeah, there's some seats available.
It's rare out here, too. Over 36,000 listed last night as Simmons waves through it. And that'll do it for Simmons. First out of the inning, first strikeout for Feldman.
You gotta stop this. I'm not gonna be able to focus like nothing happened. I'm gonna pop right back up. Yes, no. Oh man.
Well, at least like normal, always wearing that big smile.
I have a feeling the Croatian judge didn't appreciate that dismount.
Did people call him Chad Falls?
I hope he's listening.
Julia, that's awful on your part.
That's great.
Oh, we know Qualls enough to
Yeah.
get away with that one, I think.
Top of the order with Cole Calhoun at the plate.
A.J. Hinch managed the Arizona Diamondbacks. It was not a good year, but he was telling a story about Chad Qualls getting a save in one of the games and actually blew out his kneecap, dislocated it. And they'd won so few games that A.J. was in, a bit of a quandary trying to figure out, do I celebrate a managerial victory or do I pick up my closer off the ground whose kneecap is now 45 degrees from where it should be? So Chad Qualls has had some issues.
Well, the wins are number one, but you don't want your closer to know that you're not concerned a little bit, right? Shift on once again for Calhoun. 2-0 the count.
You know who would appreciate that video?
Well, a lot of guys
Is
would.
Woody Williams, because that Chad Qualls video plays right into the athleticism of pitchers. I know Woody's probably going to light me up right now if he's watching.
You hear from Woody much anymore?
Only when I rag on pitchers.
I see. Well, I see your phone buzzing right now.
Yeah, that's Woody.
2 balls and a strike. Hit to left field pretty well as Rasmus is back. He'll make the grab. Close to the bag, Perez. He'll jog it on back.
Number 27.
Always good to get Calhoun in front of Trout. Mike Trout with a pop fly single in the first inning. Stole second base on a very close play. Good throw by Jason Castro. You get a lot of different answers. Who's the best player in the game right now? A lot of people will say Mike Trout. A lot of people should be saying Jose Altuve. Trout just taking all the way. Mentioned at first AB for Trout. He's homered in 3 straight games. Ties the long streak of his career. Mark Trumbo, now a Baltimore Oriole, and hitting the long ball. Hit him 4 straight last year. Bobbled by Valbuena, and he's not going to get anybody. No chance to get Trout going down the line, so that's a costly play.
An uncommon play, too. But it looked like Valbuena kind of got his feet settled and sat down a little bit and got on those heels. Ball played him. Normally he does a good job of getting himself in a position to field those short hops, but that one caught him in between. Give Carlos Perez credit for not giving up on the play and finishing it out, sliding hard into second to beat that throw.
That means Scott Feldman has to get another man now, and it's Albert Pujols. He's hit in 4 straight, lined out to short in the first inning. Ball was not exactly scalded.
Just hope that doesn't cause issues for Scott Feldman in that pitch count.
Now, we knew Albert Pujols was going to get to some of these heights that he's attained offensively, but 11th all-time in home runs. That is a pretty special place to be. And pursuing Mark McGwire. Two and one the count. Well spotted heater.
Yeah, that's a great pitch. 2-0. You're a hitter looking for something middle in that you can drive out of the ballpark. Like Albert, I'm sure, is trying to tie this thing up with one swing. That was a well-painted fastball away.
The next home run hit by Pujols will make him the 5th player all time to hit at least 15 home runs in each of their first 16 seasons in the major leagues. The other players, Barry Bonds, Eddie Murray, Frank Robinson, and Eddie Matthews, all Hall of Famers. Going by Harmon Killebrew. That's good stuff. And now a 3-2 count. Runners at first and second. They'll be on the move here with the 3-2 and 2 outs. Feldman with a big pitch on his night. On the hands, lined softly into right center, dropping for a hit. A run will score. Gomez gets it back in, and Trout has to hold at third base. RBI single Pujols. He gets the Angels on the board, and that error very costly here in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You give the other team an extra out. Albert Pujols, the veteran that he is, got himself in a couple of hitters' counts. But you get guys that know how to hit in RBI situations, do things like Albert just did. Stay inside it, get on top, hit that line drive no matter how hard it's hit. Just find some open territory out there to get that RBI and continue this roll that they're on. It's actually fortunate that Carlos Gomez got that ball back in quickly also, because Mike Trout was off to the races.
Daniel Nava has had his struggles this year, hitting .203. But it's now the 2nd extra hitter here in the inning that Feldman has to face because of that E5. These Angels are right behind the Astros in runs scored this year. Lost a number of close games. In fact, if you take their run differential, the logic says on that Pythagorean theorem that they should have won a few more ball games. Ball and a strike. Just one home run on the year for Nava. Runner goes from first. That's Pujols. The throw down and dug out nicely by Correa. Otherwise, it would be a 2nd error in the inning and another run on the board. A very nice play by Carlos Correa. And how about Albert Pujols on the move? Doesn't run a lot, but that's his 3rd stolen base in 3 tries this year.
Well, I'm sure a lot of that is a part of the shock and awe campaign of his base running, because I'm sure that he picks in situations where he doesn't expect, or he is trying to anticipate other teams not thinking about him in situations, because in 2 outs, Feldman's concern is with Nava at home plate.
Who puts it in the air, left center field. Gomez gliding and makes the play. That'll do it. Feldman has to face a couple of extra hitters. Angels put a run on the board. It's now 3-1 Houston.
presented by Whataburger at Minute Maid Park on 4th of July next Monday. 10,000 fans will receive a patriotic t-shirt presented by Cutter. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Ash?
Thank you, Julia. Beautiful night here in Anaheim. And a lot of the fans enjoying different locations at the ballpark. The Astros enjoying a 3-1 lead. To the 4th inning we go. Marwin Gonzalez leads it off, followed by Gomez and Gaddis. As Marwin drives one deep to right field. Back at the wall, Calhoun, and can't get up to it. Extra bases for Marwin. He'll round second. Digging for third. He's got a leadoff triple. Second 3-bagger on the year for Marwin Gonzalez.
About you, Margot. Calhoun thought he had a beat on this one, almost did. But once you get up against this wall here in Anaheim and you leap, I'm not sure Marwin thought this ball was going to end up in the glove of Calhoun. But with Calhoun up against the ball, I mean, he got up against the wall, and the way the ball bounced off that wall, Marwin made a good decision to get all the way to third.
It brings the infield in a little more than halfway for the Angels. Tim Lincecum touched up for a 3-run home run in the first. Now an RBI hit by Carlos Gomez. Extra bases down in that left field corner. Carlos Gomez has the 2-bagger. It's 4-1 Houston, and still nobody out. Gomez in scoring position for Evan Gaddis.
Designated hitter, number 11, Evan Gaddis.
Carlos Gomez taking that massive hack to a hanging split-fingered fastball from Tim Lincecum and rakes it down that third base line. Almost looked as if it was a slow pitch softball at bat. Ball was drilled.
For Gomez, double number 13. Evan Gaddis going right after it. Yeah, this is not the strongest stuff that Tim Lincecum has ever brought to a major league start. There's that still legal spin move towards second base. Chatting with A.J. Hinch recently, he does not like the move. I've been a big antagonist for that move for a long time.
You still take credit for the name of it. It's called the Ashby.
Inside move that Jeff Blum allowed.
I don't know. It looked pretty effective.
Did it? Evan Gaddis pulls it foul. I don't like the move. I don't like. It's funny talking with AJ, and it was not prompted. He brought it up. That move with nobody defensively at the bag. That it's such a vague move now. Guys don't even really have to step towards second. They just have to land somewhere near the rubber. Gomez edging at second as Giovatelli darts into the bag. Four runs on 5 hits for Houston. Off speed to get him.
Good pitch. We're going to take a chance now and look at our Lexus defensive rankings, brought to you by Lexus. That number on the left is brought to you by some statistical data. The number on the right are the guys that I would or would not challenge. I'd challenge Daniel Nava when we saw Carlos Correa with that bloop double he had. He ran right in the face of Daniel Nava, got there safely. Not one of the better arms in the outfield. But Calhoun, we saw a good arm from him the other night. And Mike Trout, when he gets to the ball quickly, he can come up firing too. Carlos Perez, speaking of trying to show off the arm, trying to back pick Carlos Gomez.
He's an aggressive catcher with that arm. Andrelton Simmons playing around with Carlos Gomez. One out here in the inning. The strikeout of Gaddis. That's 6 strikeouts for Lincecum. And yet he's down 4-1. Jason Castro, one of the strikeout victims. He was number 4. That came in the second. Splitter has been elusive, or the change for Jason Castro.
That's one pitch. Tim looks like he's throwing with a little more confidence too. Getting good movement out of it. Good deception, and location has been good.
Lincecum sees it the same way that you do, comes right back to it.
Well, that one before, and that 2-1 count was a little closer to the strike zone with the 2 strikes on, or the 1-1 count through the 1 in the strike zone, and the 1-2 count throws 1 out of the zone, trying to get Castro to chase.
Right back to it. He gets the strikeout. Second time for Castro. 7 for Lincecum. 2 outs here in the 4th inning. Top of the order now with George Springer.
Right-hander, number 4, George Springer.
Springer walked and scored on the home run by Correa in the 1st inning. Then took a shot on a 3-0. Got a big swing in the 2nd inning with a couple of outs, a man aboard, and rolled over it a bit. Nice play at third base by Petit to get him. Just taking a shot at maybe a big swing. And that's what you can do when you've got 16 home runs, 3 of them grand slams this year. A start he had to the road trip. Led off game 1 of 3 in Kansas City with a triple high off the wall in right center. In that same inning, hit a grand slam. Two balls and a strike. And Luis Valbuena, again, a big part of what the Astros hope to do at the top of the order. Changeup and the slow roller. I would say from watching Lincecum, the change appears to be the pitch that's bringing the most confidence right now. Just inside. 3-2 on Springer. A little bit more than just inside. And again inside. Springer with his 2nd walk of the night. Runners at 1st and 2nd. Good speed. Valbuena coming to the plate.
Third baseman, number 18, Luis Valbuena.
Not awful pitches from Lincecum, just better job of taking those pitches from George Springer. And that split from Lincecum just tails towards that arm side. I expect Valbuena to take a swing here to try and make up for that error he made.
Generally a very sure third baseman, but costly error. Almost 50-50 on the balls and strikes.
That's not a good ratio. Call that analysis right there, Ash. Be here all night.
I think you were dead on. That's the way I saw it.
I appreciate the reassurance on that.
And you can see that pitches per inning, not at all the way he drew it up. Rolling over and chopping it foul. 2-1 the count. The Angels 12th in the league in ERA. Well, they've scuffled with their pitching. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And they have not been a good defensive club this year. They're 13th in errors, 12th in fielding percentage. When it's all added up, the Angels in dead last in the American League West. 3-2, and now the runners will be in motion. Still quiet in that Angels bullpen in left.
If he goes to the split here in a 3-2 count. Might have overthrown it at 85 miles an hour.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is that the heater at 85 or is that a splitter?
I don't know. He's been pretty consistent around 88 miles an hour with that heater tonight. Seen a couple of touch 90 miles an hour. But I wonder if that might be a BP fastball or just a little bit more firm changeup at 85.
Runners go, the pitch, tap foul.
That was a legitimate one there. Good job of fouling it off by Valbuena. Correa not happy that he's become a target.
He will be happy if he can get himself to the plate this inning. One more game in the series coming tomorrow, a day game. Ground ball right side, diving stop, Giovitella, and he'll make the play. Well, the Angels' second baseman comes up with a gem, cuts off an Astros threat here in the 4th inning as the Astros leave a pair 4-1 Houston.
Welcome back. Bottom of the 4th, 4-1 Astros in the lead, and Scott Feldman is back to work at 49 pitches at this point. Hasn't thrown more than 40 since back in April 24th. And today was going to be a bullpen day. A.J. Hinch and Brent Strom both certainly knew that, but rather than put a pitch count on Feldman today, they were going on feel. This is a veteran, guys, so I'm sure there's a lot of communication going on how Feldman feels, but he's going to try to go as deep as he can into this game and take advantage of this opportunity. We all know Scott Feldman wants to return to that starting rotation, and if he does a good job, they're going to have something to think about.
And working effectively, Julia, with a 4-1 lead here in the 4th inning. Johnny Giovitella leads it off. Marte and Petit to follow. Pretty good looking breaking ball. 0-2 the count. Well, with the Scott Feldman we've seen out of the bullpen this year, he's made himself very viable for this pitching staff.
Yeah, I agree. And I think coming out of that bullpen, we've seen the velocity from Scott Feldman get to 93, maybe 94 a couple times. And in this start, we've seen him be pretty efficient with 90 to 91 miles an hour. So backing off a little bit, maybe a little more economical with those pitches. He's not afraid to pitch to contact, which I like. He does a good job with that sinker and that cutter, the occasional breaking ball. But he's a smart kid. or I should say smart man now. He's been in the league for a little bit.
That tall body on the hill, not quite Doug Fister like, little more velocity than Fister, and so you could have those guys, the veteran presences out there, able to pick up some W's, very meaningful wins for the club.
Yeah, I think when AJ says he's going to go on field, I think he's basically saying that he trusts Scott Feldman to give him an idea of how he feels in the next couple innings and how long he wants to leave him out there. How about AJ's bullpen? He also has Davinsky out there who can throw a couple of innings.
Strike 3 called, spotted perfectly down and away, and the first out of the inning. Davinsky has been he's just been needed out in that pen.
Good location on those pitches on our strike zone. That one extremely well located. Then how about Michael Feliz? We've seen him throw it in 2 innings, and he's got lightning bolts coming out of that right arm.
He's the guy. He's kind of, for me, I don't know whether it's a starter in the long term come next year or a closer, but he's got the stuff to be a gem. There's one of your quick outs if you can get it. Springer comes on. Marte flies to right field. 2 down here in the 4th inning.
Follow Astros baseball live with the MLB.com app. Stay up to the moment with Game Day, StatCast, live highlights, and more, even when you're at the game with Minute Maid Parts' new Wi-Fi. Download the app for your phone or tablet now.
Those guys know where you were going with that?
Oh, yeah, they're tuned in.
I think Astros fans are starting to have a little bit of fun.
Rightfully so. This ball club's been good.
A W tonight would get the Astros to a season high 4 games over 500. Strike of the knees with Gregorio Petit at the plate. Can play all around the infield. Hits one in the air. Scott Feldman trying to get through a quick 1, 2, 3, 4th inning. He will do it as Rasmus makes the play. And Scott Feldman trying to stay deep into this ball game. Through 4, leads it 4-1.
And now then, it's time for
Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Toyota, let's go places. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run to Houston Children's Charity. Sales don't look brisk at the moment. The Astros have put 4 runs on the board, 3 coming back in the 1st inning on Carlos Correa's 3-run shot, number 13 on the year, 46 RBIs now for Carlos. He's also added a double. He'll bat second here in the inning as Jose Altuve will try to extend a 9-game hitting streak. He has walked and scored and then looped out a little pop down the right field side. Nice play at first base by Marte to get him in the 3rd. Altuve, Correa, and Rasmus now in the 5th inning. Tim Lincecum and Scott Feldman locked up. Jose just waits on that curveball.
And Lincecum's approach to Altuve is to slow him down.
Can you?
By velocity, it looks like.
Fastball drilled to left field. There's the 10-game hitting streak. 31 consecutive games as Altuve heads into second with the slide and tagged out. It'll be a single. And caught trying to stretch. 7-4 on that back end. And 1 out here in the inning. He's going to say 31 consecutive games reaching now for Jose. And that is a career high.
Tested Daniel Nava. That ball was hit well off the bat of Altuve. Nice spin and throw. Not the most electric arms out there, but well accurate enough to get Jose Altuve. And the out call was not made until after Altuve slid past the bag, which makes me think that he was safe initially.
Either way, it'll go as a single. And 7-4 for the out. Carlos Correa now comes to the plate. 10-game hitting streak for Jose. And I wonder if that message in the dugout is stay aggressive. Keep going. It's been a theme of the A.J. Hinch clubs. He doesn't want to take it away from these players. He's got some exciting youngsters. And none more so than the guy at the plate. A.J. Reed getting a little tutorial. 3 balls and a strike. 6 total bases tonight for Correa. Home run and double. Current player of the week in the American League. 1 home run shy of Adam Everett.
Career home runs by a shortstop. As much as we love Adam, this kid right here has got plenty of thump to go past that number.
Yeah, you would think that Adams going to wave Correa on by here pretty shortly. Just away. 1 out walk. We check in with Julia.
Thanks, Ash. You mentioned AJ and AJ here. Reed and Hinch discussing some things. They've been here for a while, actually. I've been watching them. But yesterday, well, today, Reed having the day off, it was more of a mental break. He wanted him to work on some things with Hudge in the cage, the hitting coach, Dave Hudgens. And AJ said that yesterday, when Reed was struggling a little bit, came over after an at-bat and had a lot of questions for him. He also wanted to be very open about the at-bats, what he was seeing, some pitches that he missed at the time. And then the situations, you know, Reed's been coming up with some big spots for the club, being able to maybe contribute, and he hasn't had success there just yet. Still looking for that first big league hit. But today, mental break. Hopefully he'll be back in there tomorrow with a chance against Weaver.
Good insights from Julia Morales. We are 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. Astros lead it, trying to make it 2 straight over the Angels. They're trying to make it 7 of 8 on the season between the two clubs. That hit by Altuve to start the inning, number 106 on his season. Xander Bogaerts of the Boston Red Sox starts his night at 109.
Tell you what, as much as I appreciate AJ Reed talking to the manager and trying to pick his brain a little bit, those 2 guys you just saw in your camera shot, hitting coach Dave Hudgens and Altuve, I might be over there talking to Dave Hudgens while I'm rubbing up against Jose Altuve, trying to get some of that good vibe.
Gain a little bit of that body heat that Altuve seems to always have.
Man,
Harry Carey in the dugout now for the Astros.
Hi. It's a winning look right there, man. That's all that matters.
He's going to have to stick with it if the Astros keep the winning ways going. Of course, we're talking about Trey Hillman, the bench coach. Good look. Are you bought in?
Nope. What's funny is you put those glasses on my big old skull, it looks like a normal pair of glasses.
Little readers for you, huh?
know if I go that far, man. That's kind of rude. Just kidding. Some logo.
Yeah, how does the
Right
wearing of these Harry Carey-esque glasses
I don't know. We got to get into
match
that.
up with the winning ways?
Man.
Colby gets the head out. Dale Esguerra, who we saw in last night's game, now loosening for the Angels. Both bullpens right out in left field. Colby just spoiling as he fouls one to the left side. Also on Altuve, that base hit, having him 1 for 2 on the night, has him at .349 with the batting average. And by the way, .427 with his on-base percentage. That'll do in a pinch. Tim Lincecum at 96 pitches now. It has not been a breeze through the early goings for Tim.
Well, he's had to battle his way out of some damage.
Walked 2 in the first inning. They scored on the home run by Correa. He's walked 2 since, so 4 walks on the night. 6 Houston hits. The Astros have a pair of doubles, a triple, and the home run. Line shot to the seats.
Goodness.
Stay loose down there.
Yeah, it's incredible how Colby keeps that front side close so long, yet gets the barrel out and just turns on some pitches.
Does keep that front hip closed, doesn't he?
Yeah, it really does.
Correa on the move. The pitch hit sharply into right field. That's a base hit. Number 7 for Houston. Stopping at third, Correa first and third now. And 1 out, and the Astros trying to add to this 4-1 lead. 1 for 3 for Colby Rasmus.
Stayed back a little bit longer on that pitch.
And Mike Scioscia can't stay back any longer. He's coming out to the mound for the Angels. He will turn to the bullpen. It'll be pitcher number 2 on the night. And again, the Astros trying to extend this lead here in the 5th inning. We'll be right back.
Minute Maid Park with the best fireworks show in town. The Fireworks Spectacular this Friday night is an Americana-themed show. For more information, visit astros.com/fireworks or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Thank you, Julia. Tim Lincecum did not have things go his way. He is done now as right-hander Deolis Guerra comes on in.
A dozen appearances on the season as he comes in. Pretty good ERA, although he was charged with a blown save last night after allowing 1 of 2 inherited runners to score. Come at you with a fastball about 90 miles an hour. If you remember, he pitched a little bit backwards, has more confidence in his changeup and his curveball. Pitches a little bit backwards, trying to slow the hitter's eyes down before going to that 90-mile-an-hour heater.
So the Angels already into their pen. Marwin Gonzalez, chance to add to the lead. Marwin, a strikeout victim in the first inning as Lincecum, around the home run by Correa, struck out the side. Winds up his night with 7 punch-outs. Pretty nice figure there, but Marwin also has tripled and scored in the game. That run number 4 for Houston. Off speed to start him. Carlos Gomez waits on deck. It is Carlos Correa, that lead runner, down at third. This is the inning that saw Altuve lead off with the base hit, tried to stretch it to a double, thrown out at second base. So that is the only out of the inning. A lot of off speed here. It's a ball and a strike. Infield plays for the double play. Showing bunt, dropping it down first base side. That'll get the run. It'll be a squeeze bunt and an RBI from Marwin Gonzalez. A safety squeeze as Correa delayed. The nice bunt able to bring in run number 5. 5-1 as the Astros pick them up any way you can get them.
Just keep adding on. We've seen this play a lot in a first and third situation. Perfectly executed by Marwin Gonzalez, getting that bunt going towards the first base side. As soon as Carlos Correa recognizes that ball going towards first base, easy decision to go home. Scores easily.
So we played 3-run home run tonight, and now a little bit of squeeze action. It's Rasmus at second base with 2 outs. Gomez at the plate. And
man, I'm so glad you got that bunt down. Allowed me to score that run. You're the best.
Who's the teacher in that duo?
Congratulating each other.
I was afraid you weren't going to come. I turned and dropped down a nice bunt.
Yeah, glad you were paying attention to the signs this time.
Yeah, we have had some of those issues, haven't we?
It's nice when everybody's on the same page. They're going well right now.
We've had times where I think about 3 different guys were on different pages on those calls.
2 guys writing their own.
Happens even in winning years. Gomez way out in front, pulls it foul. Carlos Gomez has lined out and doubled. That double plated a run in the 4th inning. Let's go, guys. Get it together out there.
I thought you said first sign after 2.
Sometimes it doesn't matter.
Innings plus 4 divided by 3. Oh, a little paranoia kicked in right there, huh?
It's like the wife coming out to scare you at nighttime.
Whoa.
2 balls and a strike. Again, one more with the Angels tomorrow. That's a day game, 12:35 start Central. We'll start it right up at 12:35 here in Anaheim.
It's at 12:35 Central. I have to set my alarm pretty early for that
You
ball
know what?
game.
I may have said that. 2:35 Central.
Ooh.
That would be.
Yeah, we call that dawn patrol.
Will you see you at first pitch for that one?
Yeah, maybe. If you're lucky.
2:35 Central. That's what we meant. Okay, I'll take Blum right out of that one. 3 balls and a strike. It's Dallas Keuchel against veteran right-hander Jared Weaver for the Angels. Keuchel trying to move to 5-9 if he can pick up a W tomorrow. And the Astros certainly hope that it's an opportunity to take a shot at the sweep. Hit to right. Coming on Calhoun. He'll get there and make the play. That'll do it as Gomez flies out. A run in the 5th. 5-1 Houston. Baylor, happy birthday today. 67, born in 1949.
Remember watching him
Oh man,
in that Angel uniform, and then I was actually fortunate enough to have him as my head coach in Arizona.
I remember fearing him when he was at second base. And just knowing that he was coming to the plate hard.
He is a big man.
Could run. He tallied up that speed and power about as well as anybody as a base runner.
His career OPS was 901. Not bad.
He scared a lot of guys. He was so strong.
He seemed like he had that top hand would come through the zone and just like jackhammer those balls out of the ballpark.
Out of Austin, Texas. Happy birthday, Don Baylor. Well, the Angels here in the 5th inning, down 5-1. It's 8-9-1. Carlos Perez, the catcher, leads it off. Scott Feldman falls behind. Perez picked up a bunt single as he led off the 3rd inning. Not so fortunate this time. It's Altuve with the play, and out number 1. We'll bring up the 9-hitter, Andrelton Simmons. Slick shortstop for the Angels. Hitting .224 on the year. First year now with the Angels. Came from the Atlanta Braves. For Tim Lincecum, the numbers not so kind tonight. Second straight struggling start for Lincecum. 4 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs all earned. 4 walks, did strike out 7. But really got done in back in the first inning with a couple of walks and the 3-run dinger by Carlos Correa.
He's got a 6.65 ERA as an Angel. His next start is going to be against Boston.
Team that leads the league in runs scored. Correa with the play. 2 down here in the inning.
Join the Astros at Minute Maid Park this Saturday as they take on the White Sox. 10,000 fans get a Carlos Correa Rookie of the Year bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola. For more info, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. That'd be a pretty healthy line for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be late for that one. By the way, check out Scott Feldman, the number 64 pitches right now, trying to get out of the 5th inning. That's just about exactly what you could have hoped for from Scott.
Tell you what, he'd like to do it now by getting Calhoun out, not having to face Trout or Pujols in this inning. And those innings and those pitches really have been not very stressful.
He's going to do it. A little looping fly ball, shallow in center field. Go-go's there. And a 1-2-3 inning. 7 in a row retired by Scott Feldman. Through 5, enjoying a 5-1 lead.
Astros in front of the Angels. The 2016 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is here. Head to astros.com/vote to choose your All-Stars and send them to the Midsummer Classic on July 12th in San Diego. Vote early and vote often at astros.com/vote. The Astros are 23-9 since May 24th. That's when Springer moved up into the leadoff spot. And AJ Hinch is asked about this almost every day. What is it about this team starting on that date? What did you do there to get this team going? And today he mentioned, you know, a lot of tweaks can help the lineup. Mindsets can change, and that can definitely help. But you got to think about all that's happening so far this season, especially with Altuve and the sensational season he's putting together. Bottom of the order heating up. He was talking about Gaddis. He put him in the 9-hole and he hit a home run. So they're getting contributions from the lineup. Doesn't really matter where they're hitting right now, but it is hard to pinpoint one move. There's probably 50 different things that have improved over the last couple of months, guys.
Thanks, Julia. As Julia talks about that all-star talk. Game coming up in San Diego as Evan Gaddis grounds out to start the inning. Just a couple of more days to vote. Last year, the Astros got into the postseason. They had a very nice early stretch, but it really hasn't stood up to what they've done here recently this year.
Yeah, those are great numbers on the right-hand side, and as well as that team played last year with those numbers, this team this year is doing great things. And I think to Julia's point about there's 50 different things that are going well for the Astros, I think that's what's benefiting those numbers. Is it's not 1, 2, or maybe 4 guys at the top of this Astros lineup that are contributing to those great numbers. It's the entire group of guys that are going out there and playing great baseball as a team.
Castro first pitch swinging. It's a towering pop to left field. Daniel Nava puts it away. 2 outs quickly in the 6th inning.
Of Of course, that guy right there is going to put up monster numbers. It feels like every year he goes out there, but it's nice to get some contributions from those guys you don't normally expect them from. Kind of have that good supporting cast.
You know, Altuve is going to be right in the heart of things. George Springer has been very big. Carlos Correa, boy, he's just gotten better and better here in recent times since moving into the heart of the batting order. That 4 spot has been, for whatever reason, really good for Carlos Correa, and the top spot for George Springer has led to a lot of victories. May 24th was when Springer became the leadoff man for the club. The Astros in that span have gone 23-9. George has hit 7 home runs, on base percentage just under .360. OPS up near 8.5. A lot of good stuff happening. Got him looking on the breaking ball. 1-2-3 6th inning as Garrett turns it in. Astros with a 5-1 lead.
Is presented by authority of Houston Astros, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Houston Astros, LLC.
5-1 Astros to the bottom of the 6th inning we go. It's a pretty big date in Astros history. 2007, June 28th. Craig Biggio had 5 hits and number 3,000.
I love the fact that he's going for 2. Because you know that's what Craig Biggio wanted it to end on, was that double. He had so many in his career. What a beautiful thing to be able to do that at home with his home fans there. Celebrate it with everybody, his family. Baggy got in on the action, gave him a great big hug and appreciation for all the hard work Craig had done for the Houston Astros. Couple of Hall of Famers in my book right there. One already in, Baggy waiting to get in.
Yeah, I think this could be the year for Baggy. You would think so after the vote last year.
I agree.
Michael Feliz now the new pitcher for the Astros, as Scott Feldman works 5 effectively this inning. 1 unearned run against Scott, and really couldn't have asked for much more as Mike Trout now leads it off. Electric is the stuff of Michael Feliz. Ball and a strike on Trout. Has a pop fly single on his night. He's also reached on a fielder's choice. That was that E5 committed by Valbuena led to the only Angels run tonight. Those numbers on Feldman: 5 innings, 3 hits, a run unearned, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. Scott Feldman has shaved that ERA down to 2.76 now, and that after the 4 early starts where the ERA was just a notch above 4.5. Pitching really good baseball for Houston. Took 5 pitches, but Mike Trout draws the leadoff walk here in the 6th.
Not the best way to start out this inning, but Michael Feliz has put up some very good numbers. There you get a look at it. That whip under 1. This is his 10th walk on the season. That's pretty good for a guy coming out of the bullpen, especially in the youth that Michael Feliz has. But there's some talk about what to do with Michael Feliz. I think he's comfortable in the position he's in right now in that bullpen, being sometimes a long guy, sometimes a guy that comes in there and needs a high leverage out. I think AJ's done a good job, but for me, what might separate Michael Feliz and put him into that starting rotation talk is that he has 3 quality pitches here at the big league level with the fastball, slider, and the changeup. Those 3 pitches allow you to get through that lineup a couple more times than if you only have 2 pitches.
95 at the knees to get ahead on Pujols. Yeah, I think when he's been in the long role that you reference, it's because he can go multiple innings, has the 3 pitches, and can make it look so easy at times.
That's up Julia.
Julia play that with a drop the mic move.
Yeah, drop the mic, hide under the chair, pick it up when it stops.
The chair. Slider.
You all right down there?
Lays off.
I'm good. There's seriously maybe a foot that ball could go to get to me.
And it
Got
found it.
really close. Look, there's just this little space and it went right by me.
And I see you're making friends. Handed that ball to a fan, right?
That's what I do.
Astro fan?
Stay loose, Julia. 1-2 to Pujols, and timeout called. Pujols with an RBI tonight, his 49th on the year. Well, he's taken a run at 100 once again. Guy has put up some seasons. 1,747 RBIs now. Mike Trout has already stolen a base tonight. He's at first. Could probably surprise some baseball people and say that Albert Pujols has only led his league in RBIs 1 time in his career. And that wasn't one of his biggest RBI years. He picked up 118 in 2010, still a member of the Cardinals. Had 42 dingers that year. Got him on the slider. So Feliz gets the first out on the punch out. 3rd strikeout for Houston pitching.
Pretty nasty stuff from Michael Feliz. Get that power slider down out of the zone. Michael Feliz seems like one of those guys you'd go over and talk to your hitting coach and say, hey, what has this guy got? You watch some video. And until you stand in that box and realize what's coming out of that right arm, it's pretty tough to hit.
Looks so easy. There it is. There are times when I've watched him with a little more velocity than tonight. Talking about 96, 97. Looks like he's just handing it to the catcher. Daniel Nava, the cleanup man, 0 for 2 on his night. Nava's a switch hitter. Michael Feliz figures to be a very interesting and big part of the puzzle as the Astros move forward. Shift on leaves only Valbuena on the left side of the infield. Feliz listed at 6'4", 230. Out of the Dominican Republic, just 23 years of age. Little soft liner finds center field. Trout had to freeze. He'll stop at second base. A walk and a single with one out in the inning. And Giovatelli comes to the plate.
Pretty nasty pitch down and away. Nava does a good job of staying on it. Doesn't barrel it up. Gets it off the end of the bat. Just enough to sneak it into center field. Keep this inning moving along. This might be a conversation from Brent Strom saying, you've got nothing to worry about, kid. That was an excellent pitch. Things like that are going to happen. Don't change a thing.
Might be out there saying happy birthday. I don't know. Did we mention it? Happy birthday to Michael Feliz, sharing a birthday with Don Baylor.
There you go.
No cake was delivered. Wouldn't be a bad time for the ground ball. Get a double play, get out of the frame. Giovatelli has flied out and struck out.
Not a bad pitch.
The 1-0 from Feliz. Hit in the air, right center field. Springer going back and over. He's there to make the catch. Tagging is Trout and moving to third base. 2 outs, runners at the corners. It'll bring up Marte, the first baseman.
First baseman, number 19, Jeffrey Marte.
Jeffrey Marte hitting .269. Michael Feliz, you go back to his first outing on the year. Remember that opening series in New York, cold against the Yankees. Dallas Keuchel got the club off to a nice start, picked up a win on opening day, and then they lost a couple. April 6th, he went 4 1/3 innings, allowing 7 hits and 6 earned runs. That slider apparently under the knees. He allowed 4 runs in 1 inning his next outing, that at Seattle, April 26th, after going to the minor leagues. And so the season did not start well. And now 2-0. But since that point, 28 innings, 12 hits, 5 runs, ERA of 161, a batting average against of 130.
Beautiful.
On base percentage 172. Falls behind 3-0. Gregorio Petit waits on deck. And it could be that Feliz has tired a bit here recently. He's allowed 3 runs, all earned over his last couple of outings. 3-1.
Give you an idea what the Astros thought about Michael Feliz and his stuff, able to stick with him through those rough times early in the season. giving him time to figure it out. There's a lot of rough times around that clubhouse, but they have been good in recent days.
Chopper to short. Charging nicely Correa on to Altuve, and that'll do it. So Feliz yields a walk and a base hit, strands him. We played 6, and the Astros still on top. Tron Auto Groups, or Group rather, 5-1 the Astros lead. Scott Feldman strong through 5 innings, stands to win it tonight. The 1 run against him unearned, just a couple of strikeouts. Carlos Correa got the offense kick-started in the first inning. 3-run dinger, his 13th on the year. The struggling Angels sent Tim Lincecum to the mound, and he was hit around a bit, also scuffled a bit with the walks. 4 of them. Albert Pujols has picked up the lone RBI for the Angels.
J.C. Ramirez recently picked up off the waiver wire from the Cincinnati Reds. Had a rough time in that bullpen with the Cincinnati Reds. Saw him for an inning yesterday. Looking to turn things around in this Angels red uniform.
He'll start things against Valbuena, Altuve, and Correa here in the 7th inning. Not a lot of hits tonight. 7 for Houston, 4 for the Angels, as Valbuena takes a strike. Didn't mention the safety squeeze RBI picked up by Marwin Gonzalez tonight. So the Astros playing multi-styles of baseball. Bottom line is they have been winning baseball styles here for quite some while. Here's Marwin. Pick up those RBIs any way you can get them.
It's a team game. Help yourself out, get that RBI, and the ball club picks up another run.
Valbuena takes another pitch up in the strike zone. Called out on strikes. That's 9 strikeouts of Astros hitters. First out here in the inning.
Seen the top of that zone called tonight.
Sam Holbrook, the home plate umpire, and I'll take that anytime. Call those strikes where they've been thrown.
On the other team.
Okay. But call them then for sure. Jose Altuve is 1 for 2 on the night. Has walked and singled, reaching twice. Make it 2 hits on the night. What's new? Altuve just continues his assault against American League pitching. 1 out single. He's aboard. We check in with Julia.
Thank you, Ash. Time for our Geico quote of the day. It's A.J. Hinch on Carlos Correa. He loves a big moment and is pretty calm under pressure. I want no one else up in the middle of our order. Carlos Correa had his 5th go-ahead RBI in the 9th or later this season. It's not easy to do. The Aces Spader on Twitter, who's a great follow, said that Derek Jeter had a career-high 3 of those hits in '97. Barry Bonds did it 5 times in 2003. That was his career high. A lot of season left for Carlos Correa. How many of those will he have this year?
I don't know, but Altuve's on the move, has picked up a stolen base here. A 1-out bag. He's in scoring position right away. And the Astros continue that running game. Stolen base number 19 for Altuve.
How many more times in the future of Astros baseball with Carlos Correa are we going to mention his name with a Barry Bonds and Derek Jeter? Oh my goodness.
Well, we've gotten accustomed through the years to talking about numbers like that with Craig Biggio and Jeff Bagwell.
Yeah.
And Lance Berkman has got his name in some pretty good spots. So now it's Altuve and Carlos Correa. Can George Springer be that kind of player?
It's good stuff.
107 hits for Altuve. Again, Bogarts with the Red Sox starts the night at 109. And there goes Altuve. Let's add stolen base number 20, and he's instantly 90 feet away.
How do you fall asleep on a guy like Altuve at second base? He stole that bag without a throw. Carlos Perez throws well too. Huge lead. High leg kick, no chance.
Sure has provided a shot to drive in a run for Correa, who has picked up 3 ribbies tonight with that first inning home run. He's doubled, he's walked, so the Angels yet to get him.
That's how you want to steal third base with a guy like Carlos Correa at home plate without a throw.
Infield is drawn in. When you've got Altuve constantly on base, a guy that is among the leaders in stolen bases in the league, and you get to bat fourth in this lineup, it's starting to be a pretty nice spot to be swinging the bat. When Carlos is locked in, you can see him very quietly take that breaking ball out of the strike zone.
Yeah, I think when you see guys locked in, especially a guy like Correa, he will almost take when that ball is immediately out of the hand of the pitcher.
Hits the fastball sharply. They're not going to come to the plate, so it will be a ribby for Carlos. Clapping his hands as he goes by the bag. Altuve scores run number 6, and the Astros extend the lead 6-1. RBI ground out Correa. 4 ribbies tonight, 47 on the season. And those 2 bags very big.
Pretty special combination. Good recognition by Altuve too, forcing the issue, speeding home. But that ball was hit well. You got to give credit to Gregorio Petit making a good play on that. But I like the attitude of Carlos Correa being happy with the ground out because the run crosses the plate.
Hey, look, you're the 4-man. You're there to drive in runs.
You see him, he was watching the ball the whole way, making sure Altuve was going to score.
Nothing wrong with waking up the next morning and see 4 RBIs by your name. Nice play at first base, this time by Marte. As they get Colby Rasmus, a quick inning, but the Astros, thanks to Altuve and Correa, add another.
Angels won here at the Big A. And as good as it is now, there's some guys down in the minor leagues that are going to the Futures game this All-Star break in 2016. Alex Bregman having himself a great season. Joe Musgrove on the right-hand side, star pitcher. 297 average. I don't think many of us anticipated Alex Bregman having that kind of pop. He was in a home run derby today, I believe it was, starting that All-Star break for AA Texas League. But here we get a chance to believe this was a walk-off home run in Corpus Christi. And that was some heat right about neck high, and he just crushed it out of there. Looks like that thing may have gone into the bay. But some good swings from that young man. I also like the fact that there's a good arm down there in Joe Musgrove. There are other quality arms down there. James Hoyt, Brady Rogers. So still plenty left in the tank for the Houston Astros organization.
I didn't see that kind of pop from Alex Bregman back in spring training, but man, that's nice to see. That was way out of there. Michael Feliz on the hill once again for the Astros, working his second inning. Gets ahead 0-2 on the count. 7-8-9 for the Angels here in the inning. Petit at the plate. 6-1 Houston. Joe Musgrove had such a great year last year, and doing it again this year. He's not an overpowering guy that doesn't walk hitters. Boy, Alex Bregman, as that #2 pick of the draft last year, really starting to look like the real deal. Just away. Feliz misses where he wants. 1-2 the count. Each team leaving 5 base runners tonight. Strike 3 called. Maybe getting a little enlarged outside corner. Petit rung up. First out of the inning.
Catcher, number 58, Carlos.
That's the old scoreboard zone right there. Pretty healthy lead for the Houston Astros. Sam Holbrook says, I'm going to give him a couple inches off the outside corner, ring you up.
You never minded those as a hitter, did you?
I let the umpire know.
Line drive to right. Stung well. Springer came in and had to get back quickly to make the play. Nice adjustment. Heck of an athlete in right field. 2 down in the 7th.
It's a high quality out.
It's been Feldman and Feliz for the Astros on the hill. Really liked what we saw from Scott Feldman tonight. Stepping in, and that, I don't know that it was an emergency, but Lance McCullers unable to go with the blister on the finger.
It was one of those situations. Do you take him out for this start
I think
so he
right.
can pitch the rest of the way, let that thing heal up, or do you pitch him today and risk losing him for two or three starts to let it heal back up?
I think that's on the money. And it sounds like we'll see McCullers shortly, maybe just a couple of days right now. So just good managing of your pitching staff.
And again, Lance is one of those guys. I don't know if he's on an innings limit for this season because he missed a month and a half to start the season, so he's kind of pushed back a little bit. But again, a young arm, missing one start isn't going to kill him.
Hit to left field and deep. Rasmus back can't get there. It's off the wall. Colby, like he always does, gets it back in quickly, accurately, but can't stop the double from Simmons. 2-out double brings up the top of the order.
What's crazy to me about Colby and some of the situations we've seen him here in recent weeks is he goes pretty aggressive on the ball towards the wall, and yet plays it extremely cleanly as it bounces off the wall, which is remarkable to me because he plays in Minute Maid Park where the Mango scoreboard is out there. He's got some funky hops out here in Anaheim, and yet still plays it extremely clean off that wall.
And I just got done mentioning the athlete Springer in right field. Colby is he's uncanny at times.
Yeah.
So Simmons in scoring position at second. 2 outs. Leadoff man Cole Calhoun at the plate. 0 for 3 on his night. Hits it in the air to center field. Gomez going back. He's at the track and makes the catch. Long fly ball, but that'll do it as Feliz gets through the 7th. It's still 6-1. Astros on top of the Angels. The series 6-1 is the score as we go to the 8th inning. Marwin Gonzalez leads it off. He's in the 6th spot, followed by Gomez and Gaddis. J.C. Ramirez still on the hill for the Angels. Just kind of been steady for the Astros offense tonight. Doesn't hurt when you get the 3 spot in the 1st inning with your big man Correa going yard. They've added single runs in the 4th, 5th, and 7th innings. And Marwin Gonzalez picking up an RBI tonight with a safety squeeze. Kind of one of those innings you love to see occasionally, maybe more than occasionally. Altuve, a 1-out single. Stole 2nd, stole 3rd. Actually, that's the inning where Correa drives him in with the ground ball out. It was Correa scoring on the Gonzalez sacrifice squeeze. Staying pretty loose in that dugout right now. Altuve, another couple of hits tonight. Altuve slices one down the left field side, and that'll drop. Heading for second base. Marwin tonight has himself a triple and a double to go along with that squeeze bunt. You get him in there, he is hard to take out.
Felt the need to expand right here and gets rewarded. Well off the outside corner. Just go with it. Slicing away from left fielder Daniel Nava.
Well, Marwin immediately in scoring position. Carlos Gomez at the plate has doubled in 3 at-bats. And that double driving in a run came in the 4th. Batting average has come a long ways for Carlos. Pat Neshek loosens it up. 223 now for Gogo. 96 on what looked like a little cut job.
Running away from Carlos.
Hot shot up the middle. Giovatello with the play, And they don't get the out as Marte wasn't even on the bag to take the throw. So it'll be an infield single, second hit of the night for Gomez. Into third base is Marwin Gonzalez. That was unusual at first.
That was bizarre, wasn't it? First of all, that ground ball up the middle looks like it skipped off the top of the bag at second base. Heck of a play by Giavotella. Look at it right here. That hop right there. A heck of a play. Good hustle, but why is the first baseman not on the bag? How about the no-look catch?
Number 11, Evan Gattis.
That's an easy out if you've got a first baseman doing his job.
Yeah, that's safe.
So that's a thank you very much infield single for Carlos Gomez.
Wow.
What was Marte? Looked like he was pointing at something after the play, like as if somebody had done something to interfere. I don't know.
No, it looked like he was pointing to the dugout to check the replay. And unfortunately, in his case, they did. He must have been surprised that Giavotella got to that ball.
Mentioned that Marte was at third base for the Halos last night. The Angels have not been confused with contenders here recently. They have really had some hard times. Oh, and 1 on Gattis. Shallow into center field. Trout coming on. Throws well. Tagging Marwin. He's going to come to the plate as the throw comes through, but it's a sac fly. That's picked up by Evan Gattis, RBI number 32 on his year. Astros extend the lead now 7-1.
Number 15, Jason Castro.
Ball hit just deep enough, throw off line. Astros tack on another run. Good job by Marwin going back there and getting set up. See that throw off line.
Trout gets behind the baseball and cuts it loose. So 1 out. Gomez at first base for Castro. 0 for 3 tonight for Jason. Couple of strikeouts. Two Houston stolen bases tonight, both picked up by Altuve, numbers 19 and 20. Rajay Davis is the guy now playing with the Indians that has been on fire picking up stolen bases. Altuve's got his sights on a number of leaderships around the American League, leading in batting average, taking quite an assault on the total hits, stolen bases as well. And don't count him out in on base percentage. He's right in striking range in OPS. Rajay Davis with the Indians starting the night at 21 in terms of stolen bases. Castro has that batting average at .215. Ramirez throws hard, has that little cutter to mix in. George Springer awaiting his turn.
He's touched 99 in this appearance tonight. Pretty impressive, but again, control. Falling behind some hitters. I like the way the Astros offense is scoring on this road trip. Putting together some big leads. Everybody contributing. Enjoyment in that dugout.
Still just 8th in the league in terms of runs scored. But yeah, it's starting to add up and starting to have more of these games where you can have a little bit of fun. Always nice to win the close ones. The Astros able to manage one of those last night. Boy, when you can have some laughers, semi-laughers, good stuff for a long season.
Yeah, just some comfortable wins.
Scott Feldman would be the recipient of a W tonight. Colin McHugh was good last night. Nothing to show for it. By the way, Altuve, and of course we're looking at Carlos Correa, 4 RBIs tonight. Cleanup man, drive in those runs. Altuve with the 2 hits and 3 at-bats, hitting .351 now. Castro stays alive. .351. He won a batting title 2 years ago at .341. You maybe haven't seen the best of this guy yet.
So he's getting better every year, it seems like.
And I would say in that vein with Carlos Correa, I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. And I think it's still happening.
He's still maturing and growing.
Castro down on strikes, 3rd time tonight for Jason.
Academy Sports and Outdoors and the Houston Astros are hitting home runs for Houston, benefiting Houston Children's Charities. Most home runs in June in franchise history. 2001 was a big year. 49 Jacks. How about 2015? Man, that's all in 1 month by one team. My goodness. 2016, 8th on that list. 31.
Jeff Bagwell led that assault back in '01. Of course, the Astros finished 2nd in the league in home runs last year.
Those are the early years of Minute Maid Park. Richard Hidalgo was a guy who could drive the ball out of the ballpark around that time too.
Richard hit about what, 44 home runs that
I believe.
Morgan Ensberg, was he part of that assault?
No.
Springer leading the club in home runs this year. 16 long balls for George. What does that all add up to come the end of the season? Not quite halfway yet. Is George a 30, 35, maybe even a 40 kind of a guy? Time will tell that story with George Springer, but
man, that's
such
a
a
lot of home
talent.
runs.
Yeah, it is.
This day and age, that's a lot of home runs.
You wouldn't say he's incapable of those numbers, though, would you?
No, I believe he's capable, but I think, you know, other parts of the game might take a beating if he tries to unload 40, 45 home runs a year. I don't think he's that type of guy that needs to really try and hit home runs. I think he's got enough pop just to take a pure swing that he has. And if he barrels it up in the right trajectory, it's going to go.
Bagwell, Berkman, Alou, Castilla, the big home run guys in '01.
Yeah.
Boy, that's quite a quality list of names, isn't it?
Oh my.
Throw goes over, not handled easily by Marte, who was nowhere close. Carlos Gomez will stop at second base. That'll be an E1.
This is not pretty at all.
That's embarrassing baseball for a team that's struggling.
Well, you've got a, I'm not sure how many games Marte's had at first base, but you got J.C. Ramirez, who's on the mound, who was just claimed off waivers from the Cincinnati Reds. But there's a miscommunication. If you're a first baseman and you move off first base, you tell the pitcher that you are not going to be holding the runner on, so things like this do not happen. So as much as people are going to blame J.C. Ramirez, a lot of it has to go towards Jeffrey Marte for not communicating that he's not going to be on that base.
And Gomez only aboard because Marte didn't have a foot on the bag over there. So, yeah. You know, it's tough on a manager on a club when you've got some guys injured and guys not playing well, and you're trying to mix and match, and you can embarrass yourself.
Well, Mike Scioscia is dealing with a lineup. Well, half his roster's on the DL.
Yep.
I mean, so it's been tough right from the get-go. You can see that. That is a look of frustration of not knowing how to handle or what to do, because he's a very good manager. He's got a track record to prove it, too.
Springer stays alive. 3-2 the count. You know, you just spin the gears all day long. What can I do to get a little more offense in there? Maybe I can move this guy to first base, and then the night plays out and you go, whoa, what are we doing?
Man. And again, this game is tough, but that error that you just saw right there was a mental error.
George Springer draws a third walk of the night. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. As Luis Valbuena comes to the plate, he's looking for his first knock. So the first couple of guys in the batting order, nothing to show in terms of hits tonight. But all in all, with 10 hits and the walks that have been issued, not a bad night offensively for the club.
Charles Nagy, one of the better guys in all of baseball. Great career pitching in Cleveland. He was a pitching coach in Arizona when I was there in 2011 and 12. Lucky to get to know him. One of the better power shagging pitching coaches I've ever met in my life.
Power shagging, huh?
He was unbelievable. He was the Energizer Bunny out there during BP. I don't think anybody touched a baseball. He went and shagged them all.
He just made me think of a teammate. I've had those pitchers that during batting practice are the power shaggers. Bill Dolly, who was with the Astros. Bill Dolly was he was the king out there, I think. Might be some guys that would disagree. What about me kind of stuff. But Bill Dolly, he was fully engaged in batting practice.
Yeah, head down, go for it.
Everything in sight.
You know who was a big power shagger and paid the price for it? Mariano Rivera. He blew out a knee one year during batting practice, shagging some fly balls.
So he liked to use batting practice as maybe a get in shape, have some fun time.
Well, that's what I don't know about Mariano, but I know that in talking to Chuck Nagy when he was in Arizona, I was like, what are you doing, man? This is crazy. And he goes, this is my conditioning. This is how I stay in shape.
Valbuena waves through one, and that'll do it for the Astros in the 8th inning. 11 strikeouts now for Angels pitching. Astros had another at 7-1 Houston.
Bottom of the 8th, and we have a winner in our Chevy Stroh poll. We asked you earlier, this was the funniest fall, and gave you a couple of options, including Altuve, trying to get that triple, or Trout, or Chad Qualls, and Altuve wins. The funniest, the funniest fall. I was proud of Chad Qualls collecting some votes there after we showed the video.
Hey, let me ask you guys, what did you think of the Eric Kratz opening day pratfall?
Yeah, that should have gotten some votes as well. This is just, I mean, how can you not love Jose Altuve after watching him smile like that?
That is precisely it. What she just said. How do you not love the kid?
Yeah.
He looks up and smiles, and you know, like no ego, no. It's just that's Jose Altuve right there.
And even Mike Trout with that same reaction last night surprised me. Trout leading off here in the 8th inning. 7-1, the Astros lead over the Angels. Pat Neshek on now.
But I mean, he's going hard, looking for the triple for the cycle, and right about here he realizes I'm not going to make it. But this look right here, when he rolls over and just gives that little smile.
That says a lot too, the way the team reacted. You know, they love watching him play.
We all love watching him play. He is a blast to cover.
You know, the thing is, he's gone from fun to watch to amazing to watch. He's one of the game's elite players. Mike Trout gets a piece. Has a single and a walk tonight. He has stolen a base. 1 for 2. And that batting average for Mike Trout at .321. He's hit in 6 straight. Trying to come up with another multi-hit game. Pat Neshek trying to keep him away from that. Feldman, Feliz, and Neshek for the Astros tonight. Into right center field and dropping. And a diving play, Springer out of nowhere. And Mike Trout has one taken away. Oh, man, how about George Springer in right field?
He's not going to let the superstar get another hit. Just gave that little tip of the cap to Jose Altuve, who was hollering at him, but this is an incredible play. I was with you. I thought for sure this ball was going to drop. Considering the score and the time of the game, you just kind of mail it in, but George Springer playing hard every single play and has a chance to make a highlight reel play, and of course he does.
Now, we've seen him enough that, yeah, I'll just say for myself, he can make plays other guys don't even sniff in most occasions.
Again, if you're giving out awards halfway through the season, you're going to go ahead and put a Gold Glove mark next to George Springer's name.
Is there a better right fielder in the league? There are some good ones. I don't mean to stick him all by himself.
No, I mean, yeah, there are good ones around the league, but for my money, this kid right here is getting it done. He's been good, but I think this year's been a little bit different. He just seems to be throwing out plays like that on a weekly basis now.
I think I heard him say again recently he's still most comfortable in center, but so impressive in right. He's using all the tools.
Taking a big hug from Pat Neshek.
1-2 on Pujols. That's a fair ball inside the bag down the left field line. Pujols is digging with all he's got, and that's not much, and he's going to have to stay with a single. Kobe Rasmus once again getting that job done down in the corner. Just not much there left for Albert Pujols with the wheels.
Ball smoked. The hanging off speed pitch is just barreled up. Cody Rasmus, I mean, it bounces off the wall down there that left field corner, but this is just not getting it done.
One out single, Pujols aboard. 4-hitter Daniel Nava at the plate is 1 for 3. That lone run for the Angels tonight unearned against Scott Feldman. Tim Lincecum touched up for 5 earnings. Driven to right center field, and nobody's getting to this ball. It'll go to the wall. Pujols is doing all he can to get to third base. He'll stop there. On a gap double by Nava, back-to-back hits. The Angels with runners at second and third. And Johnny Giovatelli coming to the plate.
How big is that play by Springer now?
Gets larger, doesn't it?
Man, he would have scored easy on either of those hits. Instead, it's second and third.
Watching Pujols right there go first to third on that gapper. Kind of painful.
Yeah, it doesn't look comfortable, does it?
7 hits now for the Angels. Right-hand hitters have had a miserable time against Neshek this year. Fly ball to right, shallow. Springer's there. Not a time to tag and come for Pujols, though George Springer really didn't exchange that ball very well. It wasn't needed. Albert Pujols once upon a time could do everything in the game, and it's got to be really frustrating.
That body's taking a beating, putting up all those numbers over the years.
So, big second out for Neshek as now he faces Jeffrey Marte at first baseman tonight that has been involved in a couple of rough plays down at first.
It's an interesting series here in 2 games so far. Remember that first game of the series, he hit a line drive to left, and he made it look like he hit it about 80 rows deep, and it hit the bottom of the wall.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever used the term. We used to at times say bat boy. In other words, you hit it and it's time for the bat boy to come get my bat because I'm going to take my jog.
I like it.
And yeah, it's kind of a bat boy shot from years ago, and yet it comes right off the base of the wall. Hang with him. Pat Neshek trying to get through this 8th. That was close.
Yeah, it was a pretty good pitch. See if we can check it out. All right. Awful pitch. Way off the outside corner.
Well, there's one truism in this game. You want them all throughout the course of a game.
Especially in these ball games. We've seen worse called in this game. We've been up in the zone. And down and away.
2 balls and a strike. First base open. The Angels have a man loosening in their pen. The Astros quiet for the moment. Left-hander for the Halos. Chopper left side. Valbuena with the play. He'll make it, and that'll do it for the Angels in the 8th inning. Neshek gets through the frame. Couple of hits, he strands him. Through 8, 7-1. Astros lead it. Chris Bryant of the Cubs did last night?
If you haven't, you're going to right now, because this is the first time you've ever seen it in a Major League Baseball game. First time a player in Major League Baseball history has ever hit 3 home runs and 2 doubles in a ball game, going 5 for 5.
16 total bases. The left-hander on now for the Angels as Alvarez picks it up.
There's Jose Alvarez's numbers. Pitched in 37 games so far. 35 2/3 innings in those 37 appearances. Got a whip over 1.5.
Pitcher number 4 on the night for the Angels, Jose Altuve. A walk, a couple of singles tonight. They've gotten him once. Took a nice play actually by Marte on a little looper down the right side to get Altuve in the 3rd inning. League leader, hitting .351. You know, now that Altuve, who is going to fly out to left field here to start the 9th inning, now that Altuve's batting 3rd, 45 RBIs already, could he take a run at 100 this year?
Why not? These guys have been getting on base in front of him, and he's had some opportunities. Guy coming up right now has 4 RBIs on the night, and that now ties him with George Springer for the team lead, 47 RBIs.
First inning 3-run home run for Correa, his 13th. Since then he has doubled and walked, scored a run, and then drove in a run with a ground ball in the 7th inning. Took a nice play at 3rd base by Petit to get him.
Could you imagine Altuve could turn into one of those 100-run, 100 RBI type guys? That is some serious production.
You know, I bring up the question legitimately. We approach the halfway point. He's within a striking range of maybe getting to 100 ribbies on the year. That would be,
oh man,
I think it would be actually fitting the way he's swinging the bat these days.
Well, just another thing Jose Altuve is going to do at the big league level. He hasn't done it yet.
Look, he spent much of the year batting higher in the order, leading off. Number of leadoff home runs, by the way, didn't hurt him at all, but I think he's capable of 100 RBIs. Capable of a whole lot is Carlos Correa. Another knock here. His 3rd of the night. He is a triple shy of the cycle.
Yeah, he's had a big night. He loves hitting in this ballpark. Drove one out here. 3-run bomb to start off the ball game. Flashing the leather too. That last AB, another knock, not giving up on the night, being greedy. Ash and I are always talking about it. You get in these situations in these games, you want to go up there and be aggressive, be greedy, go out and pad those numbers a little bit, get the hits when you can.
You know, it's a misconception. I think there's a belief that a guy that drives in 100 runs is a guy that drives in every one when the club needed it to win the ball game. But there are a lot of, you know, what you'd call cheapies, I guess, as players.
Oh yeah, you get those mop up, or you know, you're way ahead or way behind, and you sneak one out for a 2-3-run jack. Why not?
But it's about going out and grinding and getting that 9th inning single or that 5th inning trailing by 5 runs RBI kind of thing that maybe gets your club back in the game.
Well, and what you're getting at is you still have to go out there and get the hits to drive in the runs. Don't sacrifice those ABs, even though your team may be way ahead or way behind.
Sometimes it's a ground ball back up the middle in the infield, a fly ball where you drive in a run, but you just keep getting the job done. Rasmus hitting right at 250 right now. 1 for 4 on the night. .162 games. Sounds like a lot, but I'm not sure it sounds like as many as it can be when you go out and strap it on for 162.
tough play that Andrelton tried to make right there.
Pop fly single, a little bit of a gift for Colby Rasmus. His second hit of the night. The Astros now with 12 hits on the evening. And it brings up Marwin Gonzalez. He'll turn around and bat right-handed. Marwin's having a pretty good night. Triple and a double, a squeeze bunt driving in a run. He has scored a pair. All started as he struck out back in the first inning against Tim Lincecum. There are times when you simply have to smell blood. The Angels are not playing good baseball.
It was very polite, Ash. It's been ugly at times, but the point you're getting to is you got to beat up on these teams and take advantage of them. And this is a team that is going to end the division, so there's plenty of games left for the Astros against the Angels to get that win column up.
The tough thing right now about the American League West, the teams in Texas.
Well, and Texas gets to play this ball club too.
Yeah, that is very true. Texas Rangers, 50 wins to start their night. Marwin now with a 1-2 count. I appreciate you saying maybe I was just being sensitive. That's what it was.
You?
Okay. I hear you. Not a chance is what you're trying to say.
We've been through some tough times, Ash. We're doing okay.
Yeah. Catchers these days got those calf pads.
Would have caught for another 6 years with those.
I think there may be some GMs that disagree thoroughly with you. Chopper. Alvarez with the play on to second base as he gets the force. Second out of the inning. Runners at first and third now for Carlos Gomez.
Center fielder, number 30, Carlos Gomez.
So we get a couple of those knee savers and call a game in a squat position like that just for old times, huh, Ash?
Just to give it a shot?
Yeah.
I think you might fare a little better than somebody
man.
else here in the booth with that.
You'd be shocked.
That would have been fun to actually give that a try. Carlos Gomez hitting .227. Has a single and a double tonight. That single a bit of a gift. Hit a bouncer up the middle in the 8th inning. Gio made a whale of a play, but his first baseman Marte surprised that the throw came that way, or some version of that wasn't on the bag, and Gomez got the gift base hit. Oh, and 2 the count on Carlos. Each team with an error tonight. The Astros have just continues to put the runs on the board. Boston Red Sox 8-2 winners over the Tampa Bay Rays tonight. The Cubbies down Cincinnati. Rough year for the Reds. 7-2 Cubs win it. The Tigers under Brad Ausmus have been playing better baseball in recent times. They down Miami. Boy, Miami, you mentioned them last night, and I fully agreed. Maybe the best surprise story this year for a team. By the way, Brad Ausmus's boys a game over 500 now with that win, 39-38. Minnesota stops the White Sox. White Sox got off to a nice start on the year, but they have really been slowed. Dodgers down the Brewers 6-5. Cards in that battle of Missouri, stopping KC 8-4. Philadelphia leads in the 9th inning at Arizona 4-3. The Baltimore Orioles, they lead in the American League West. 45-30 coming in, 4.5 game lead over the Boston Red Sox. A lot of calls for John Farrell in his head as the skipper of the Red Sox now.
Yeah, that pitching staff is taking a beating.
Baltimore leads 11-4 over the Pods. Gomez to a knee, or make it a whole lot more, down on strikes, and that'll do it for the Astros in the 9th inning. To the last frame, 7-1, Astros lead it. Baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Whataburger. Come out for an autograph session with Jason Castro. That's on July 6th at 3939 Red Bluff Road in Pasadena, Texas. And by Lexus, the new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. Next level luxury. From the Big A, the Astros trying to keep the winning ways going against these Angels. Lead it 7-1 now as we go to the 9th inning. And Chris Stavinsky gets the assignment.
Another good arm out of that Astros bullpen.
Brings the fastball to start it. 7-8-9 for the Angels here in the 9th. Petit, Perez, and Simmons. The Astros going after win number 41 against 37 losses. This is deep, but back to the seats down the right field side. Back up the middle, Correa shaded that way to make the play. Throw off line, but a nice job by Marwin to apply that tag. Marwin's done a really fine job down there. First down of the inning.
Real nice job. Carlos rushed that throw a little bit. Got on the sidearm side of it, and it ran towards that arm side, but got to give credit to Marwin Gonzalez coming off the bag quickly, making that catch and tag.
get that job done. Carlos Perez, the catcher, comes to the plate. Well, that'll bring a smile to infielders when the first baseman is able to make those plays. By the way, Blummer, guess who won an 11th consecutive game tonight?
Those Cleveland Indians.
You know, at 5-3 the final as they down the Atlanta Braves.
Tell you what, good things happening in Cleveland. How about the Cavaliers? Never won 11 games in a row this season, yet they won the World Championship. What's comparable?
That's a good stat.
Yeah, crazy, right? That Indians team is in a groove, and I mean, if you've got an offense going well with that pitching staff, my gosh.
LeBron's not going to the Olympics. Maybe he can come out and be a part of the Indians. Yeah, they've got a lot going on. They've got a whale of a pitching staff, but their offense has actually done a nice job too.
Yeah, it has been surprising. Lindor,
he's a good player, isn't he?
Man, I love that kid at shortstop. He is very good. Mike Napoli's having himself a really good year too.
Comeback year. He was having a tough time a year ago. Just out of the reach of Correa at shortstop. 1-out single for Perez, his second hit of the night. And it brings up the shortstop, Andrelton Simmons. Another team that just keeps on winning, the Texas Rangers, down the Yankees 7-1 tonight. For Texas, win number 51. Pitch fouled back right over our heads. Andrelton Simmons juiced one last time up, 7th inning. Double off the wall in left field. Ball and a strike. Following Simmons, top of the order with Cole Calhoun. Ground ball to short. Can they get to? Altuve turns it, and they get it handily. 6-4-3, Correa, Altuve, and Marwin. And Chris Davinsky comes in for the 9th inning, faces just 3 with the double play. And the Astros come into Anaheim, taking the first 2 games in this series and do it comfortably tonight. A 7-1 victory tonight. And we take a look at what's going on. It's still early, not quite halfway, but that wild card becomes intriguing now as the Astros keep on winning, Blummer.
Yeah, they are tied now.